All right, good morning and welcome back. My good name is Sankwa Brian. If you missed the first conversation that Stephanie had, you will absolutely find it on YouTube at Y254 channel on the hashtag, which is Y in the morning, and we apologize for that. You can find me at Brian Sankwa 101. Now, in this last part of this conversation, we are delving into an interesting topic about concerning matters artificial intelligence. Now, AI continues to tremendously shape different spheres across the globe, pushing professionals and even companies to adopt AI systems for better performance right here in Kenya. How can we integrate artificial intelligence into our legal expertise and also criminal justice system for better services? Let's find out from our guest, who is Godwin Segero. He's the CEO of Metallics Solutions. Great to meet you, Godwin, and good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Thank you very much, and thank you for having us today here. When I say us, I represent a big team that I work with. I'm just but the face of it, but I have a very incredible team that supports this, that makes it possible for us to have AI Magerezani being powered by Metallics Solution.
That's an invaluable thing to actually have a team. Now, tell us the dream and the vision behind AI Magerezani before we debunk everything and the legal justice system.
Thank you very much, Brian. So, AI Magerezani is a dream born out of passion, purpose, and a personal story. Okay? So when I say a personal story is, at 8 years old, I lost my dad. And it was through brutal murder by the people that were known to us as a family, the people we called friends, the people we once shared meals with, you know. And then at some point when he was just about to leave the country, that, because we were up country, so he was to leave up country for Nairobi before he left the country. So, you know, like it was like the last supper for him. So he invited his friends, told them what he was going and all that. So ordinarily you would expect these are people who are supposed to be happy for him and, you know, like celebrate because this is one of us, he's leaving the block, probably will be the next. But that was not to be the case. So greed and betrayal kicked in and his life was cut short. In cold blood. He was murdered in cold blood very early, at around 8 p.m. actually. It wasn't even that late, you know, because I can remember everything that happened. But as you would expect, for anyone who would go search, maybe the next possible thing that we'll expect is justice. But that was never to be because...
what happened to the offenders?
The offenders, they were arrested almost immediately. But now, less than a month after they were arrested, all of them were back in the streets, walking scot-free.
So meaning there was no law or someone to follow it up?
So there was law, but again, it's about, you know, in this country, I know someone who knows someone. Fortunate for them, they knew someone who knew someone. And for us, we didn't know anyone, so we had to live with it. And me being a young boy, I had to live with the trauma because these are people who came from the neighborhood, so I would see them every other time on my way to school, on my way back home, you know.
And that is torturous and traumatic.
And there's not, you know, and there's nothing I could do about it.
You can do.
So I remember at some point I used to hide when I meet one of them because I can't imagine meeting them one-on-one, you know, and to some extent they'll rub it on your face, you know, like you thought we could rot in jail, but here we are walking free. So I took it as a purpose, as a mission. Initially it was a mission to get justice for my father, but as time went by, I realized it was bigger than what I thought. It was something that was to help more other people who lack justice, who've never accessed justice, just like my father was denied justice.
So, but finally you went to school, pursued law, became a litigator, and now you're here, and then here is AI Magerezani.
Because I think, especially when it comes to my law career, it's a bit complicated journey, but I've come to realize everything was adding up. You know, everything that happened in the past was leading me towards...
it worked for your good entirely. Anyways,
because I remember after I finished my law degree, which I pursued in India, given that India would take, at least it's known to be somewhere. So I got interested in tech while in India. So I came back, as anyone would expect, probably go to a law firm, maybe for internship or maybe just before you join Kenya School of Law, but that was not the case for me.
What happened?
I delved into something totally different. I went into sales in a real estate and investment company for 2 good years.
To earn a living and survive through. that time?
I think that at first I thought it was to earn a living, but I realized it was to teach me something.
Yeah.
Because
So it ended up again pushing you back to your
because
calling.
Yeah, because whatever I'm doing right now, it's into justice through tech, but it's more of an entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So while at certain, I think I learned a lot in terms of leadership, how to be a good salesperson, how to pitch ideas and all that. So I didn't know it was preparing for something else.
Yeah.
Then fast forward, went back to Kenya School of Law.
Yeah.
I remember after the training program, because after the coursework now you go for pupillage, which is more of like an internship.
Yeah.
I remember by the time I was starting my internship, it was 6 months after, like the time I was joining, a majority of the people we were in class with were finishing.
Right.
Because I remember every other time people would pressure me like, why don't you apply for pupillage right now? But I was clear, I didn't want to work in a law firm for some reason. If you ask me why, I don't know. But I was convinced I was not meant to do my internship at a law firm. So
but eventually you ended up.
So eventually I did my pupillage at Makadara Law Courts.
Yeah. Maybe you can now delve into your experience at Makadara Law Courts and how the system there works, and then we can lead into the AI part of it. Okay,
sure. So at Makadara, I was more observant. I was keen to details just to understand how the system works, you know, how the processes go about in a criminal court, you know. So I would see people coming in, especially the accused persons. Yeah. So they come in, they are on their own. Most of these people are people from poor background, people living in slum areas. Right. But here they have to argue their cases before a prosecutor who's a trained advocate. Yeah, or a person like you who's seated on that desk, ready to administer. And I know how tricky it can be, you know, because we as lawyers, we will ask you a question, maybe you think we're asking a black and white question, but it's leading you to somewhere. So you'll find many cases of self-incrimination because someone is responding from an innocent point of view, but it is the same response they give that get them behind bars. Okay, now for a poor person, like the way you put it, how is it not in favor of them while they're seeking justice? We understand the law applies to everyone, the rich, the poor, the wealthy, whoever. Why does it get unfair when it comes to a person who doesn't have, let's say, autonomy to seek redress? The law applies to the rich, the poor, and everyone on paper. Okay. But not in reality. Yeah, it's coming from a lawyer. No, honestly, that's the plain truth. Yes, you know. And I agree with you, by the way. Yeah, so you'll find someone who's, because what is the success rate of a prosecutor? It's based on how many convictions they get. You understand? Because prosecutors being state counsels, the state is not into business of losing cases. Yeah. So their success rate is based on how many convictions they get. But on the other end, you're having an accused person whose win will be an acquittal. Yeah. Okay? So an accused person who doesn't have legal representation and who lacks legal knowledge, how do they navigate the system? Right. So it always plays to their disadvantage. You should be listening to cross-examinations. Someone is being asked, do you have any question for the for the witness or maybe the prosecutor? And after they've done the ruling and they've sentenced you. Someone will say they have no question, but they don't understand what that means, because for you during cross, you have to discredit the witness, the statement of the you have a right to, even in that tight, intense court session? Exactly, because you see, this is a lay person standing before a prosecutor and a magistrate. Yeah. Already that environment in itself is intimidating. Yes, it's intense, very. You get, so these people don't ask the right questions, don't get to answer the question they're asked correctly. Or even challenging the ruling and backing it up with the law. Yes. So I'm thinking of Boniface Kariuki, I don't know if he's a victim or a survivor who is now battling for his life at KNH. If the dad was to seek legal redress, with the resources he has right now, how will he battle it out until? And you just mentioned, rarely does the state lose cases or convictions. Yeah. So the state will lose, yes, but it depends on the other party. If me as an accused person, I'm in a position to to hire a lawyer, then I have a better chance of winning. But if I'm on my own without legal knowledge, then all odds are against me.
Yeah.
So
like now for Boniface Kariuki, if you were to picture that, if the dad was to seek legal redress, do you see them winning the case against?
So this is the thing. I think for Boniface Kariuki's case, it will be different because again, in Kenya we have people who thrive in limelight. So there are people who come in to offer legal services, not because he deserves, because of the attention that surrounds that particular
and the visibility now.
You get the point. But now there's a Boniface Kariuki whose atrocities were not captured on camera. What happens to them? Now these are the people we're talking about.
Yeah. But now it's in the public domain. I believe it's easier for them to get someone or hop onto.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You see, like for the case of Boniface Kariuki, talk about Albert Ojwang. These are matters that are in public domain. So there are many people who would want it will be interested, and it will be pushed from all quarters. Probably there are people who will support even with legal aid, and people who will support them to get legal representation. But I'm talking about these people who cannot afford, and there's no one to put their matters into the public or in the limelight.
Or escalate or mention it to someone.
Because see, these are cases that are isolated because they got public attention because of the nature in which they occurred, you know. But there are many Boniface Kariukis who are suffering behind bars, probably for things they did not do, for crimes they did not commit. Probably the biggest crime they ever committed was being poor.
So without money, it shows that you cannot get legal service.
It's a tall order when you don't have legal representation. It's not as easy as it will be.
Compared to before then and now. For somebody who's watching this conversation and they're going through something, wanasikia tu aki nahitaji lawyer bwana. And also maybe you can try to teach us, because this is a teachful conversation, between an advocate, I believe, of the High Court and any other, an advocate and a lawyer. Who are you going for, and who is affordable and who is not affordable? Or it depends with what and what exactly?
So the basic difference between a lawyer and an advocate is, a lawyer is anyone who has a law degree. But an advocate is someone who's gone through the advocates training program at the Kenya School of Law and they've been admitted to the bar. So the difference is a lawyer cannot represent you in the court of law.
Meaning that they cannot argue out your case.
Yes, in court.
Before a jury.
Yes.
Okay.
Because what happens, an advocate is like licensed to do that. Okay? So that's why
a lawyer is not?
A lawyer is not, because see, a lawyer is a law graduate. So you can have a PhD in law, but until you are admitted to the bar, you've gone through the advocates training program. You are a lawyer, not an advocate. So all advocates are lawyers, but not all lawyers are advocates.
Get that difference.
So
who is affordable and who is not affordable? And for anyone who doesn't have much resources,
so
they can hop on to advocate.
For a lawyer, would basically give you legal advice. But now it can't go beyond that. Let's say I'm a lawyer, probably I'm a law graduate, probably I've done even my master's. If you come to me, I can tell you this is what the law says, ABCD. But now if you want to proceed to court, I'm not the right person to represent you. Now that's when at that point you need an advocate.
So for you just give further direction.
So I can tell you maybe this is the avenue,
the route you need to go.
You'll take. You know, these are the strength of your case. These are the possible outcomes and all that. And probably this is the kind of maybe offense or anything. You know, just regarding the nature of offense that.
Actually, you're giving them information on what they're being accused of here. Maybe you can get also to the types of offenses, because I believe, of course, kuna zile normally petty offenses, but I have a friend who is also an advocate of the High Court. We were actually arguing about Albert Ojwang, and he was teaching me about non-cognizable and cognizable offenses from, what are they called? Petty offenses, felonies, and whatnot. Maybe you can break it down. Which are the most common committed, let's say, crimes still, because it's still a crime anyways once you get to the legal system. Commonly with normal mwananchi, then you find somebody's in custody, but this is extremely petty.
So you'll find the issues, the pettiest is the drunk and disorderly.
Kamata Friday.
So someone, you come to court and you're found with you're charged with an offense of maybe being drunk and disorderly, loitering, you know. such.
It's considered an offense in Kenya. Loitering, like just meandering through streets of CBD.
Again, you know what happens is, you know, maybe I won't go into the detail, but you know, there's the penal code, and it gives the police too much power. Whereby, if you look at what would warrant a police officer to arrest you,
Yeah.
you know, probably someone will just find you walking or in the dark with a bag, and if they
pounce on you.
If they believe, or they in their mind they believe maybe you're preparing to commit an offense,
or they have a perception you could be
probably you
a
look
criminal.
Probably you look ugly, and someone like this looks like a thief.
I'm amazing go easy.
Yeah.
Majambazi.
Yes. You know, so that's the case. That is, and then you see these crimes, things like theft, assault, and all that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe tulikuwa tunapigana then nikakuumiza and all that. So these are petty crimes, but still they're crimes. And then now they're those.
So they also stand. They hold water to be tested and tried before a court of law.
Yes.
Okay. And the offender needs a backup, like an advocate or a lawyer as well.
Yeah, because see, if I accuse you of stealing my phone, you see, you have. I've come and said probably you are this place before my phone disappeared and all that. So it's you to come and state otherwise that at that point, I was not there, or
I'm not even the one.
I'm not the one.
Or I even confused it with mine. Yeah.
Yes. So you see, if you don't prove that, then you stand guilty.
My goodness.
Because see, law is about how you argue and what and how you the evidence and how you argue it out.
No wonder mko na vocabularies kubwa. But then now, because so would you categorize that as non-cognizable or cognizable offense? Because I believe the other one is more serious. This one is petty or not serious. That requires an arrest warrant. Yeah.
So there are those offenses that don't require
arrest
warrants. So let's say umepatikana somewhere at some point, maybe stealing or something. You see, the police will not wait for an arrest warrant to arrest you. But there's another one. I've lodged a complaint, so and so did this, you know. So you see, at that point, based on the complaint, now you need an arrest warrant. Where you come, you've been charged of this offense, ABCD. So you see, first of all, you know, you're supposed to be summoned to appear before at the nearest police station to record your statement. But more often than not, that doesn't happen in Kenya. You come, the first thing when you're caught is being handcuffed.
Yeah, that usually happens, the first thing.
You know,
and you're bundled into something.
Yeah, but you see, that should be the case. There's always a procedure on how an arrest should be effected, you know. And
it's interesting that it has to come from a magistrate.
You see,
not necessarily.
Not necessarily. There are those warrants that emanate from the police station.
Oh, okay.
You know, and there are those that, because you see, let's say a case has been ongoing, and then probably you are out on cash bail.
Yeah.
But because you are out on cash bail and you abscond court, you see, at that point, because the cash bail is to secure your court attendance.
Okay.
So the moment you abscond, now an arrest warrant is issued against you.
Even if it's still a petty offense.
Yes, because what happens every other time when there's a hearing or a mention in court, you're supposed to be there. Okay. And ideally, either you're supposed the case has to be heard when you are behind bars, or if you can afford cash bail or bond, now the matter is being heard while you are out.
Yeah, hold on there, because I think it's very important for the person watching to understand. What are the circumstances that could lead to, should we still call them a criminal or a convict or an accused person, right, to be granted cash bail, but still they're going to attend court processions?
So these are things. Cash bail and bond is a constitutional right.
Cash bail and bond.
Yes. So everyone is entitled to it, you know. But again, there are circumstances under which you can be denied cash bail, and they're well laid down, you know. So one would be either you're a flight risk. Okay. So probably if
that one is common a lot.
Yeah. So if we give you cash bail today, probably we'll not see you. Probably you might escape and maybe go out of the country and all that, you know.
Okay.
Another thing is you might interfere with witnesses. So you being out there, you're going to interfere with witnesses who are going to be instrumental in this case.
Yeah.
And in other circumstances, it's also for your own benefit.
Probably, for real?
yeah, probably whatever the kind of offense you've committed,
Yeah.
if they put you out there,
The public is
deal
coming
with
for your neck.
you know.
Yeah.
So
I
there
get that.
are some circumstances whereby you can be denied cash bail. But you see, not always, because it's a constitutional right.
Yeah.
So you find probably you've been you've been given a cash bill, but you cannot afford. The next possible thing is a bond.
Yeah. So what is bond really now?
So bond is you don't have the cash, but you have a collateral that will secure
Can
your
stand in for the
you,
cash.
For the cash. So that's why now the issue of logbooks will come in, title deed will come in, maybe a pay slip and such like things. You go. So now you have to deposit your title, either yours or someone
Close to you, or a kin.
Yes, can deposit their title to secure your
right.
you being out as the case is ongoing. Yes.
I'm remembering the case of Rose Njeri, who had created a platform where people lodged their complaints. So they released her on 100,000. That was cash bail or bond?
That is
cash
bail.
Cash bail, yeah. Yes. I've read cases where she or he was released on free bond.
Free bond.
Yeah, please break it down.
Yeah, so again, free bond is on, how do I put it? Like, we are taking your word that you'll appear before court.
Okay.
You know, probably you're not being seen as a flight risk, you don't have intention of interfering with witnesses, and there's no danger upon your life. And probably whatever you've committed is not something that would maybe warrant you that huge amount of cash bail. So you're given, like, you're taking a word. You're saying you're going to attend court, sir, but in case you fail, now that's when we are going to issue warrants against you.
I want to read something from AI Magerezani, and then we can delve deeper into it. This point caught my attention a lot. It says more than 80% of Kenya's incarcerated population are self-represented or on remand, and legal knowledge is inaccessible to many due to illiteracy, poverty, and lack of representation. We've mentioned that a little bit. Prison systems are cut off from digital and technological progress, risking further marginalization. AI Magerezani ensures that the fourth industrial revolution reaches even the most overlooked individuals in society. But you've mentioned this project will be fully inception on 7th of July. Yeah.
Yes.
Please talk about it and how it's going to be the next big thing in the criminal justice system.
Thank you. So AI Magerezani is an initiative of its kind, because having been in this space, the legal space, and especially in the criminal justice system space, I realized there are many people who are suffering for lack of representation and lack of legal knowledge.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is it looks like it's just these people affected, but what we don't realize is it affects the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
Why do I say that? Because look at, let's say, our courts. Our courts are underfunded. The workforce is not as it's supposed to be. So we have very few magistrates, very few judges against this huge population. So let me just try to put it into perspective. We are having a case, okay? You've lodged a complaint for something that happened to you. What you're looking for is faster access to justice, okay? It is an offense that was committed against you. But me, who's an accused person, I don't have legal representation, I lack legal knowledge.
Yeah.
So at some point, in one way or the other, I'm going to drag this case. So probably a case that would have taken maybe 2 months ends up taking maybe 1 year. For instance, maybe there are submissions I'm supposed to put in maybe during our case. You know, I've been asked, "Will you be putting your submissions?" I say yes. How much time do we need? I'll ask maybe for 1 month. Okay. Yeah. I've asked for 1 month, but do I know how to prepare submissions? I don't know. Do I have someone who can help me? No, but I'm hoping I will find. So probably by the time we're coming back to court, after that 1 month, I've not put in my submissions, because I did not find someone to prepare them for me, and I don't know. So what is happening is I'm going to ask for more time.
Yeah.
Probably I ask for another 1 month or 2 months. By the time we're coming for the next mission to see if I put in my submission, probably on that particular day, the magistrate is on leave
or travel
or official, you know. So it means that matter is not going to proceed. Yeah. And the cycle continues over and over again. That's why you'll find people being in remand for some even for up to 10 years.
Yeah, a lifetime for real. Yeah.
You get.
So how will AI Magerezani turn the system around.
So this is what AI Magerezani is going to do. So we are coming to train these inmates on how they can leverage AI to help them navigate the system. First, let's say on drafting of documents. If I was to do that document as a lay person, I'll be waiting on someone. Probably that person will never come.
Okay.
But we have someone, if we've trained, especially our first target is the paralegal team at industrial area, you know. So probably this team is a small team that has to take care of all the inmates that cannot afford legal representation.
Paralegal is more of a voc for anyone, a Gen Z millennial who doesn't have paralegal.
So paralegal, there are these people who are doing legal work, but they're not law professionals. Let's say this person is not a lawyer, but because of the interest they have in legal matters, now at least
they have the know-how.
They know how they've done it maybe for quite some time now. They understand at least.
It's like paramedics giving first aid. Yes, another version of it.
Yes, so that's what happens, you know. So at least these people, they're not trained lawyers, but at least they understand how to prepare legal documents and all that. So we're just giving them tools to accelerate on how they can do it now even faster, so that they can help more inmates.
Seeking legal redress.
You get. And then another aspect is
you mentioned of drafting cases.
Yes, drafting. We have the issue of legal research, because if you see, if you are to do legal research right now as a lay person, it will be at all order for you. But you see, we have these AI tools that have been trained on this all this information. So if you tell it, maybe my case, the nature of my offense is A, B, C, D, and E. The stage of my case is probably at the hearing stage. Maybe we've had witnesses coming in. This is what the witnesses said, A, B, C, D. But now, can you help me prepare for maybe questions for cross-examination? Yeah, you get. So at least this accused person, when they're coming to court, they're not coming with zero knowledge. At least they're coming from a point of this is how know-how. This is how I can ask questions. This is how I can respond to questions.
Object.
Exactly.
Or interject.
You know.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do? You know, sometimes we are being misconstrued on, like we're trying to circumvent the justice system to get criminals back in the society.
Actually, if an ordinary brain would say, mbona wanataka kutoa watu wenye wamepelekwa ndani watoke nje?
Because already we've profiled anyone who's in remand
as a criminal. But
again, a majority of the lay people in the society don't understand probably a difference between a remandee and a convict.
Yeah, maybe because a convict, I believe they've been through the court of law.
Yes.
Maybe you can paint a picture of the two, contrast remandee and a convict. Yeah.
So a convict is someone whose case has been heard and concluded, and a verdict has been made
in a court of law.
Yes, and they've been sentenced. Okay, so like,
and they are serving.
Yeah, so like a convict, they're serving. You know, like their fate has already been decided. Like you did this. Every evidence that has been adduced, it puts you at the scene of crime. So you are guilty of the offense. So you're going to serve your sentence. And then a remandee is someone that is inside, behind bars, pending trial. So their case is ongoing. Probably they could not afford cash bail. So the only thing is for their case to proceed while they're behind bars. Okay, so this is someone who's still pending trial. At the conclusion of the case, they might be convicted or they might be acquitted.
Yeah, and I can imagine thousands of remandees who don't have what you just said, representation or cash bail. Yes. And there's like 10,000, and that means prisons are congested for real.
That's the thing, and that is one of the things that AI Magerezani is coming out to solve.
Yeah, and that's prison reforms.
Yeah, because you see, if you have these cases, if you have these people now fast tracking how they approach their cases, if the police say, remember I told maybe an accused person will maybe request 1 month or 2 months to put in submissions, but if we give them these tools that will help them now to submit the same even in 2 weeks, you know, it means these cases are going to move faster. For those that are supposed to be acquitted, they'll be acquitted faster. For those that are supposed to be convicted, are going to be convicted faster, so they start serving their term. For those that are being acquitted, their case proceeds faster, so that they're acquitted faster. Because you can imagine someone losing probably 2 years or 3 years of your life only for you to be told you are innocent. This is time that will never be recovered.
Deeply regrettable.
You get the point? And that brings us to another policy reform that we're trying to push as AI Magerezani team. Because how do we then take care of these people whose time has been lost? Because you see, after you've been in remand for 3 years, Your case has been concluded. You've been told you are innocent. Now you've been acquitted. That's okay. You see, it's supposed to us to feel like now, for someone to feel like they're free. But what you forget is already 3 years of your freedom has been consumed.
Yeah.
Your life will never be the same again. You're not going to be walking door to door explaining to people that you've been acquitted. There are people who've already profiled you and they know you're a criminal.
So how are you helping them to recover the wasted years?
So that is not something that we are doing with AI Magerezani, like with the project as such, but now that's where the policy reform comes in, because we are looking at coming up with a bill that will probably it will find its way to Parliament and just see how can the state, because these criminal matters are matters against it's the state is the
state,
the
like
complainant,
the main character.
Yeah, you know. So how then does the state compensate these people for the time lost?
Oh, I actually had no idea you can seek compensation for time wasted in custody. I had no idea. I'm hearing it for the first time.
And you see, you can't, but you see, now that's what you're trying to push. So that can we have a scenario where after these people, if you've gone through this process, rigorous process, maybe for a very long time, and you've been found innocent, you've been acquitted, is it enough just to be told you're free now, you can go home?
Yeah.
Probably by the time you're coming, you've lost a family if you had one. Your wife has remarried, your children are no longer there, probably your property has been sold and all that. How do you start afresh?
Yeah. So here, that's where you come in now.
Yes, that's where we come in from the reform aspect.
So what are the fundamentals that you're providing in the policy reforms?
So the fundamental is we're just looking. First of all, we're looking, as I told you, on the issue of compensation. Then we're looking at a proper structure in terms of the prisons department, because we're looking at having each prison to have at least an computer infrastructure, something like a computer lab, because as we train them, as we give them this knowledge, how do they use it? Because most of the prisons lack this infrastructure. So can we have a fully fledged infrastructure within the prison facilities? You know, so that if I'm an inmate and my case is coming up probably in the next 2 weeks or so, at least I know I have somewhere I can go research my case. And do what? Research my case, prepare my submissions and all that, you know. And then another thing we're looking at is having a seamless integration between the prisons department and the judiciary. Because one of the challenges these inmates face now, we are talking about the convicts. Well, now they want to file an appeal, okay? They want to file an appeal, but they don't have access to their court documents, be it court proceedings, judgment, and all that. So it means someone has to go to court to follow up on their court proceedings before now they can now start laying down grounds for appeal. You know, but they don't have access. You're there and you have no family, you have no one to send to do that work for you. What happens? So we are looking at we are actually, as we speak right now, we are in the process of developing an AI agent.
That's big.
Okay. It's something that is in progress.
An LLM, right?
So it's an AI agent is trained based on other LLMs.
Oh, so it's a system surviving on another system.
On another system.
Okay.
Because see, as we roll out our project, we'll be, especially for the training purposes, we'll be using the existing LLMs. But we're looking at a future where, because we understand the nature of space we're in, also with the issue of data and all that, so we have to. We're looking at a localized AI agent whereby we will have the control of the data that is being handled within that AI agent is within the Kenyan jurisdiction.
So basically it's just a tool that could be purchased and it still survives on another platform.
Again, that tool aims to limit the access and the extent to which the inmates can use, so that because one thing we understand is in as much as the initiative is good, it's not devoid of challenges here and there, in the sense that there are people who want now to use the same initiative that aims to help them to do other things. You understand? Because this is internet, so that's why we're trying to do away with...
To confine it.
To confine to, so that if you're going there, it's limited to your... To what
seeking legal services.
And then maybe just giving you a few, in terms of tech skills, now that will help you even as
like prompting, doing all those things, and we'll talk about it in just a bit here. But also I'm thinking of how receptive are these prison systems to this idea and this project? Are you expecting pushback at some point?
One thing I must appreciate the Kenya prison's leadership, because we had an engagement with them. We told them, we pitched our idea, and we explained to them how we intend to use and its benefits. And the fact that we'll be launching our pilot project next month on the 7th of July, it means that they're receptive of the idea. You know, they've received it well, and they understand the future is in tech. You know, and you can't wrestle it. It will catch up with you.
You adopt it or you
perish.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so that's the thing. So the fact that they've allowed us this space to roll out this project, it means they receive and they see the value in what we're doing. You know, and other than just the prison department, it's an appeal that we are making to the larger society. You know, because it's not something that we can do by our own. It's definitely, it's cash intensive. You know, it requires resources, it requires expertise. Because right now we have a team of, I have a team of 10 people that I'm working with closely, and then now we have a volunteer team of over 30 people that have come in. You know, and this includes lawyers who are willing to offer pro bono legal services. We have tech experts who are helping us in developing these tools. You know, we have people who are teaching this. Who are ready to teach these inmates how to leverage tech, to teach them on things to do with prompt engineering and all that. So we have a whole battalion that is behind us that took this vision that originated from a personal story to something that resonates with them, you know, and they've come out, given their all, you know, the 100% in terms of resources, expertise, time, just to make sure this initiative succeeds.
I believe it's the next big thing in the legal justice system. Yes. But then on the side of litigators, for lack of a better word, I don't know, don't you believe in some kind of sort of way it's taken away from, how can I put it? Like, we're going to have more AI lawyers than original lawyers and advocates who are not using, you know, AI tools and help to prosecute and administer justice. Yeah.
It all narrows down to the mindset, you know, because you call them AI lawyers, but I call them lawyers who leverage technology to make their work easier. So you see, the problem comes in when you use a tool to replace you, when you delegate everything that you're supposed to do to a tool. But once you leverage a tool, as these AI tools, as an assistant that makes you deliver your services faster and efficiently. You know, because I'm asking myself, me as a lawyer, why would I sit here drafting a document for 5 hours while a tool can help me draft the same probably in 5 minutes? Yeah. So if you are a client, would you, if you are a client, I want to be dramatic, kidogo, you're seeking legal redress, and this advocate or this lawyer is telling you, by the way, nimetumia tu AI kudraft hapa vitu zenye tunaweza tulize huko kwa court case. I'm going to kwambia, I'm not looking at any computers, I'm just reading the law. So we're going to go with the hard copies, and we're going to question everything with the law hard copy. Who would you opt for? Would you go for this one who's used AI to come up his submissions, or you use the one who's using pen and paper from documents? As I said earlier, it's about mindset. Because client behavior is almost the same across board. People are looking for convenience and things that will be done faster, saving time. Okay. You know, so, and maybe I will twist it now the other way around. Okay, if you are a client, there's this lawyer. You are two clients. Each one of you has approached a lawyer. Okay, lawyer A has taken probably 5 hours turnaround time to give you a legal opinion and all that. And then there's lawyer B who's telling you they'll do the same in 48 hours. Okay? So when your friend tells you, by then my lawyer already did this, or the process is already ongoing, and yours you're still waiting 48 hours. When you have another matter, will you continue with your 48-hour lawyer, or will you be looking for this for the 5-hour lawyer?
The 5-hour, of course.
Exactly. Because
already,
justice needs to be served faster. You know, what people don't realize is, when you're using, people want to delegate, and that's why you've had cases where people are filing documents with citations that are non-existent. Yeah. Because you as a lawyer,
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. Because you as a lawyer, you've decided you're not going to do your work. You're going to delegate everything to the tool. You know, because me as a trained lawyer, I should be able to know, yes, this AI has given me this document. Is it, how do I ascertain that whatever that has been cited here or whatever has been cited here is factual? You know, but if I just take it because I trust AI and then submit it to court without counter checking, who's the problem? The problem is not the tool. Again, it starts
Person
from
prompting
it,
now.
it starts from the training, because many people believe they know how to use AI just because they can key in a prompt in maybe ChatGPT and then it gives them a response within 2 seconds and they're like, I know how to use. But prompt engineering and use of AI is a skill like any other skill.
And this is what you're offering.
And
with
that's this not just for AI Magerezani, even for lawyers, because under Mtalek Solution, we are a legal tech company where we empower lawyers to leverage technology. So we do the prompt training for lawyers. How do you use AI tools ethically?
Yeah.
You know, so
that's a good one. How do you use AI tools ethically
you know,
as a consumer of AI systems?
Yes.
That's
because
a good thing.
you can imagine, you as a lawyer, you're using AI, you've fed it all the client information, all that, including their personal details, bank accounts, and all that. Probably for someone else, now you on the other side, you're searching something, and then because the more we use AI, it's like we are retraining them.
Yeah. Because it's learning from you. It's a machine learning.
Yes, because they're learning the patterns. And all that. So when you on the other side, as Brian, you're searching for something, maybe you're looking now how to draft maybe a certain document, and then it comes with this information for someone else, because that is what has been trained on. So that's why we come in and train lawyers. You know, we can use this, but at what point do you discern what information to feed in these tools and which one to avoid? So that even as it makes your work easier, you're not compromising on the security and the data of your clients. Yeah,
you're talking about in your pillars, community empowerment and support as well, and rehabilitation through innovation. I believe digital literacy is what you just finished talking about, and then justice access through AI. So community empowerment and support, this means you're also doing outreach to the victims or families or kin of convicted persons?
So this, when it comes to community empowerment, when you talk about marginalized people from our perspective of inmates, when they're in prison and when they leave. So what happens when they leave? Because most of these people struggle to get good conduct. So it means no one is willing to employ them if you don't have your good conduct.
Stigma appear.
Stigma is all that. No. So how do we rehabilitate them? So even for those that are already out there, we are coming up with an initiative where we'll set up centers, like rehabilitation centers, where we are training them on tech skills that will help them do what? Now leverage the skills that are there. So that, you see, if you're coming out as an inmate, probably you're in there for 10 years and you've come, the world has evolved and everything seems new. So we take you now through step by step, so that we teach you can do this, because based on the skills that we've taught you. Now you can decide, probably based on the AI skills I've learned, I can leverage the same to be a graphics designer. You know, now get your computer, start yourself, so that you're not now in some sort of prison outside here where you are depending on good conduct or formal employment. Can you leverage the skills that you've learned, probably in prison or post incarceration, to empower yourself? So that's what you're doing.
Incredible. I want you to react to this as in 2 minutes before we dive into the last part, because we have, I believe, 3 minutes. I'm going to just read through it very quickly. After spending a decade behind bars for a crime he did not commit, a man named Isaac Wright Jr. studied law in prison, proved his innocence, and eventually became a licensed attorney. His determination did not stop at his own freedom. He later played a key role in the legal case that led to the conviction of the very judge who sentenced him. The judge, who was found guilty of corruption and misconduct, had manipulated multiple cases for personal gain. Rawlings, using his legal expertise, helped uncover a trail of abuse that finally led to justice being served. This story has gone viral as a powerful example of resilience, redemption, and poetic justice. It shows how, even in the darkest of circumstances, knowledge and persistence can change a life and the system. This story was first shared by CNN in April this year. React to this.
I think that is the way to go. And talking about that, it's not just in the US. In Kenya right now, there's an NGO that is doing the same, where inmates are getting LLB degrees from prison.
It's happening in Kenya.
I have friends of mine who are practicing advocates right now, who got their degrees while in prison. When were released, went to Kenya School of Law, and now they're practicing advocates. So it is something, and that speaks to what you're doing, because sometimes imagine that if that Isaac did not get this, the knowledge that he got from prison, studied his law while in prison, what would have done? What would have happened to him? Probably still be serving. What would have happened to the judge who was corrupt? Probably still be
scot-free and still
doing the same
continuing with this heinous act.
So it takes one person to stand out and like, enough is enough. We have to change.
So inmates, convicts have power to to look what's on the other side after what's been done.
The biggest advantage they have is the advantage of time, because they are confined in one area. So they're not engaged in many activities. I don't have time to go pursue a degree or do that. So they have all the time. And that's why we're looking at it as the best place to empower the society. Because these people, what we do is we judge them based on their past. But we forget these are people who we once coexisted with. These are people who were once useful in the society. There are some who are just caught up in the inside of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Probably that was the thing. So I think it's something that we really need to do. And again, as I said, it's an appeal to everyone, because probably today you're not an inmate. Probably someone has been a victim. Maybe, who knows, you might leave this place and the next thing unajipata ndani without this knowledge.
It happens a lot during maandamanos. People are arrested, and tomorrow, by the way, is a maandamano day, and people are just likely to be pounced on. You're found in a group, they bundle you into something, you're found in prison again. I believe that's another big debate,
So this is the thing, because you see, because other than just being in prison, we are rolling out another initiative called AI Mtaani, because we understand these people come from a society, and especially looking at the slum areas. These are most of these people who are in prison come from, because of the nature of the social status. They are poor and all that, so crime will be an order of the day. Most of them will lack legal representation. So if we empower them when they're out here, if they find themselves there, they are likely to know how to navigate the system. There are those that are in the society and their families are there. They can know how to help them.
I want you to give your parting shot why AI Magerezani is the next big thing that's going to challenge our legal, criminal justice system and even legal expertise at large, and why they should keep an eye on AI Magerezani. You said it's coming on 7th of July.
On the 7th of July.
Yes, 40 seconds. Here's your camera.
I'll do that, and allow me to just shout out a few people that have been very instrumental in seeing this initiative come to life.
I've seen Mizani here.
Mizani 254 actually have been very instrumental in helping us get the message out, just helping us. Mizani team, most of the team are the internal team for AI Magerezani. So we have Obesoriku playing a very vital role. Likuyani Eli is there.
I know him because I used to speak in his ex-spaces.
Yes, Eli is there. Stella Sokei. Then we have Bundi's Safaris led by Ezra.
Ezra was a guest here at some point. So I'll give you a parting shot because you are exiting, you're out of time.
So sure. One thing we have to do is, I'm just urging everyone to watch the space, because AI Magerezani is transforming the criminal justice system. We are defeating the status quo. We know it's not going to be easy, but again, it takes me and you to be the change that we want to see. So we invite everyone, just come in whatever way you come. You can support you by volunteering to give your expertise, donate cash to help us facilitate these prisons, buy merchandise, which will go a long way in helping this project go. And you can be having a laptop, a computer, anything. Just donate.
Is there a link, a website, a number?
Yes. So
please say it faster.
You can.
We are out of time.
You can reach us through www.intellectsolutions.co.ke or call us on 0704 020 449.
Absolutely.
Asante sana.
Ensure that you plug in with Godwin Segero. He's the CEO of Intalex Solutions. This is an endless, incredible conversation, and maybe on the other side we'll be delving into the deeper side of what happens, especially now when a person has been convicted and they're serving, but they still have chances for actually getting out. I think that's another good conversation. But thank you so much, Godwin, for being here.
Yes. I really appreciate it.
Karibu sana. And also we want to thank you for watching us from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I and my co-star Stephanie, who has said will go missing in action in a bit, but you'll see her. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early. My good name is Brian Sanko at Brian Sanko 11 at Y254 channel. See you tomorrow.